known as Strawberry. Welcome to EZIGI. Please help me welcome our special guest today. So, all right.
I'm very good in yourself.
I'm well, thank you. Please do introduce yourself to our viewers.
My name is John Nyamuswa. I'm from Davidson, originally from Davidson, but residing in Springs. I'm the founder of a foundation called Life Goes On Foundation for Burn Victims, and I'm here to tell the journey of my life.
Thank you. Please briefly tell us if you've got your siblings, and just get to it. It's your time.
Okay. I am okay. Like I said, I was born and raised in Davidson.
Yes.
Kulekon Extension 3. I was raised by my mother and father, and I've got a sister and a half sister. What happened was, obviously growing up, I was involved in an accident. I think that's, basically I was involved in a car accident, a fire incident. That's what they say.
Oh, okay.
We were playing as kids, just sitting in the car, and we decided to light a fire.
In the car?
Yeah, I was 4 years old at the time. I had two other friends of the same age as well, and we decided to light a fire inside the car. It was about 3 houses away from my house, and I was sitting in the passenger side, and I had a friend of mine on the driver's side. So what happened was we took like Tinyap and Dwaban, and then Saibega, like in the middle of the center console. We lit because we're trying to keep warm. It was June, yeah. So, and then now don't forget, like the car itself, like, when you in the location, it's that car that you throw all your rubbish away. Like it's paint cans. Like it's just sitting there. It's been there for years and stuff. And we later on would get there, trying to drive and whatnot. So unfortunately, we didn't realize that when we close the doors from inside, you can't open. So what happened was then the paint can fell over. Because now we had lit the fire, we put paper and everything, lit the fire, and the paint can fell over. And the seats, because they had petrol, turpentine, and all of those things on there, they caught alight. And immediately the whole car got engulfed with flames and stuff, and then we ran to the back. I was fortunate enough that I don't know if it was God or with my smartness at the time, maybe, I went onto the backboard of the car, so that where your speakers usually are.
Yes.
Yeah, so I laid there. So that's why you'll see most of my burns are on my left side, on my left side of my body and my back, then I passed out there, and then I just remember waking up outside of the car. Recalling questioning. So now there's ambulances, I can hear helicopters, there's firemen, there's and the one vision, like one thing that's been like instilled in my brain was seeing my friends, my two friends. They had blankets over them. Before Baba Kwalache, I could see like it was gory. So it's like eyes popped out, and they had been deceased.
Were you guys all 4 years old by then?
Yeah, so it was within the same age groups. I was 4. I think I was. One was old. I think was 5, and then the other was about 3. Group. Yeah, within that same age group. I was airlifted to Johannesburg General Hospital, where I was there for a couple of hours and actually pronounced dead. When I was pronounced dead, I think the following morning, they called my mother. Your child unfortunately didn't make it. My mother was like, no, there's no ways. Like, I need to see him like one last time. We got to the pathology center, Komoshari. As I was about to be put into the freezer, Afika, she called out my name, John. I woke up. When I woke up, she said the first thing I said was like, Mama, like never mind the pain or whatever that I might have been going through. I just wanted, So then I woke up. Immediately it was like this miracle.
It was a shock to everyone. People.
You know what I mean? Because like the doctors.
Like, and we're certified dead yesterday.
This was yesterday. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's like, okay, date, what time, whatever, they did the whole death certificate. They were in the process of doing my death certificates. So we went back into surgery. they flew over Dr. Chen from China. At that time, they obviously were the ones doing the skin grafts and whatever, whatever. So I was fortunate enough that they were there for some seminar at the time in SA. So they immediately like, hey, there's a test case. Let's see what you guys can do. So they took over. I was hospitalized for about a year, in and out of hospital. I then moved from Metro General Hospital. I went over, obviously, because my parents were government employees. We were fortunate enough that we had medical aid and whatnot. Mind you not, it's not enough because it did get exhausted at the time. You know? So I went through that process of going to, hospital in and out, to a point where I got to about grade 7, 8. This was in 2002. And then I decided I'm comfortable the way I am. I can't carry on with the surgery. I was comfortable in my own skin. I was fortunate enough that I grew up in an environment where like I was accepted, a community of Davidson, to this day, I like that community, I can never, I think
them enough.
Yeah, because it was even when the kids are going to play soccer, they'd be like the recruitment would wait for me coming back from soccer, like, John, so how am I doing coming back, And so I was inspired, I was motivated, for life and stuff like that. The only thing that I think I basically struggled with via self-confidence wise was, you woman.
Yes.
So it's when I got to the age of I was in grade 8. They wanted me to go overseas and carry on with. So I used to do some very intense surgeries. Okay, one of the most painful surgeries that actually led me to stopping this whole thing of going into surgery was I can't grow my hair. So my hair, because when you burn, you've got pores in your skin, right?
Yes.
So obviously that melts over. So now nothing grows. You have to regulate your temperature. So I think you saw when I've got a little bag.
Yes.
I carry like a cream and stuff, because sometimes it'll get too hot and then I have to wipe myself off. And then it gets too cold, then my skin goes dry and it gets a bit painful. Those are things I still kind of, go through, even to, it's unfortunate,
and
but
you have to live with them.
Yeah, I have to live with that. But yeah, man, then that surgery entailed that I had to have a balloon inserted underneath my skin, between my skull and my skin. Then what they would do every Thursday, they would blow, it's liquid something, but it's air. So it's liquid.
So every Thursday, for how long were you going to do that?
For about 2 years.
No,
not 2 years constantly. Maybe it took 2 months, and then they deflate it. And then what they do is they take the skin and then they stretch it. More thing. They'll stretch it over onto the side. Yeah, that's. I don't think
you wanted
that
to go through that.
That is one painful surgery. Because now you need to understand they pulling your whole skin. Understand, by force. So the whole point of the balloon was for the skin to stretch.
And for the pores to come back and open.
You know what I mean? Then they were like, no, why don't you go to Germany? There's some new laser. You could be like Michael. They tried to, the Michael Jackson at that time.
We can take you back. Yeah. We can change you.
And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm happy.
And they come, we've been accepted.
Yeah, just and you see how bubbly I am. Already, I was like, Joe. I didn't realize at the time, dude, we was born, at the time.
And shout out to Davidson, guys. Shout out to Davidson.
Big up to my Vuta peeps, yo.
Good love. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, then went through that thing, and then it started. I'm not gonna say it was happy day and but it wasn't. It was. Okay. I started going through so now you need to understand, I'm going to a school very multiracial, you understand, where with cultural differences comes those cultural stigmas as well. Yes. I understand. So with black people, we tend to not be able to, it's the way, I can read a person's energy by the first time that I meet them.
Yes.
If you the first time I met you, you looked straight into my eye, and you can tell that person who can't hold it in, and that's natural. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you know what I mean? But it's those looks that we give to people, and the energies that we give them that would make them they feel positive or negative. So now I was kind of stuck in between, because now I'm going to school and this negative is like, hey John, whatever, and then Kukas is like, hey mama, you go mall or whatever, and stuff. So it started kind of affecting me, but it wasn't as bad until I left for matric. Then I had to go to Joburg. My first time go taxiing from Davidson to MTN rank.
To 1 hour drive.
Yo, I'm sitting there. I've got like everyone in the taxi looking at me. I understand now. My dad was like, "No, there's none of this. John Manje."
Yeah.
And then I had one of my best friends. He said so. At the time, we were going to CTI together. And it's like, for the first couple of weeks.
Yes.
But I guess he was kind of training me with, when you don't know nothing, the real world is about to come. Now they don't know who John is.
Yes.
They don't know,
your story.
Yeah, who
yes, what
now
happened.
From Edmonton. It's a typical this kind of, story.
Yes.
So I get there and I tell you, I hit rock bottom. Because now I'm meeting new people. And there's now this girls. You
get there, you just.
I fought it. You would never see it, but I would feel it. You do feel it, like you can laugh and we can be happy and stuff in the social space.
Yes.
But I'm a person. I'm gonna have like some sort of maybe like I like this girl, but I would never have the courage to be like, why it's my TD so. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's one of those things, and that's where actually I realized the need for like, wow, damn, like this is
how
real.
Much it is.
Yeah, this is Then that's when I started like going to the psychologist and stuff, because I'm falling into a trap of, if I want to be with the cool guys, let's drink. Okay, let's smoke. Let's go to parties. I had to, and then people will take advantage of you as well.
You end up doing things that you don't even want to do, but
you know
to please them.
Now I'm asking for extra pocket money. No, I'm mailing your thing
because
so it's those typical peer pressures that I guess every kind of kid goes through, but mine was kind of above board, because I was actually dying inside. Do you understand? I was in denial.
Yes.
So I'd come back home and then it would be cool and stuff. And so, you get comments, you'd get called like, you know what I mean? And you've got a threshold. You can only take up to, a certain point, and then you can't do it anymore. Then the one time I started working. I finished. Well, I didn't finish, but I kind of like left the whole IT aspect. It wasn't my thing. I'm not really an office oriented kind of person. And then I started Life Goes On. So Life Goes On for Burn Victims I felt like, I've been so blessed with this character that I keep don't ask me how I do it, because I don't even know, honestly, but I do. I understand. So what happens to these kids who don't have that drive, who don't have that kind of financial backup, maybe from home or from people around them. I understand. People are cruel out there. I understand. There's some stories that I've heard where, abantwana bashile, it's a curse from Badimu, Amadlusi were punishing the parents. Like all these little phony philosophical stories that I don't know who did so guy. But anyway, I just decided I'm going to start this foundation. I want to help out these kids. And I found these kids, and God just blessed me with these kids, and then I just took off. And ever since then, that's what I've been doing. I've been doing some motivational talks for corporate companies and stuff. Everyone goes through some sort of insecurity, especially women. It's not necessarily you have to be burnt but don't forget, the way I am can happen to anyone. It's not a disease. It's not inherited. It's not genetic. This is some real, like the cameras now can just, and then, the whole ceremony, you know what I mean? I'm saying, so it's kind of something that you can't look at it and be like, it will never happen to me. God forbid, let it not happen. You know what I mean? But you can't really say that.
It will never.
So we need to, and then I started looking at what causes people to look at me the way they do? What causes people to say the things that they would have to say? You understand? The energy that I bring out to you is how you're going to perceive me. I get So I think even before we started the shoots, you were on some, wow. You understand? No matter if you had found me Gilly, like, hi, you know what I mean? You're going to be like, Hashem, you know, hey, I'm Almighty. You know what I mean? And we don't want that. You don't want that. We want you to bring out, I want you to receive me as you a are. Normal person.
Besides, I just want you to be you.
Yeah. And then once you see inside of me, then you actually forget about, you know, what happened to you. Do you know what I'm saying? And I want you to be free to ask me, what happened to you? And
I want to ask you something. With the energy that you have, at any point,
no, not now.
Has it ever? No, I wanna. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we debate whether you want papa, when energy how.
Yeah.
Mara but ba cheba. Nkile wa ipusa go gat batho ba ba chebile. O botse go tswa ga go gatistorosa batho ba ba chebile.
Yeah. I do actually I do forget at times.
Yes.
Then I'll have like, especially like this friend of mine, Tisetsu's been like a very good friend of mine that since we were growing up. So he'll be like, because I would get angry, like, yes, it's matter, what, like they will stay.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that question,
so,
but I think
it's a natural question. I do forget.
Yes.
It's become more of an educational factor for me when I talk about it than the fact like now I don't see myself as being burnt. I guess I'm getting to that point where I see myself as an educational tool.
In the that's why.
Yeah, you understand. So you're gonna look at me. It's natural.
Yes.
Look, don't get me wrong. I get some kids that I go to hospital and I react exactly the same way as you do towards me. So I'll be like, but I get not to get it
because people would expect
I must be immune to it. I'm not. I'm human. Like. You know, so now I get the gist of it. Hey, Mara, you know, I want to go John Boba Kwatela. This is, you know, it does get, but I guess with time, as you go on, you become, yes, I do forget about Khorkibiang. Like actually,
this is another education. Like
yeah.
You've got to go with it. Like there's stages. This about Coco stage.
Yeah. So I'm still gonna get to maybe the old age stage where it's now khocha, and now I'm getting all wrinkly, and now I'm going to be like, there's another level of, you know, education. But for now, I think it's not really so much about the actual wounds. I just do believe it's the way how we. So what is Life Goes On all about? What makes it different from other burn foundations? Life Goes On is, so like many foundations, organizations, whatnot, whether it's an orphanage or a medical kind of, you know, NGO.
Yes.
They will take the child and put them into a facility where they are in a friendly environment. So we put them into a home, right? Sister Bettina, Sister Mangmang, looking after the kids up until the age of 18, which is usually when they release you from the home. Whether it's an orphanage, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be it's a medical disabilities thing. Even if it's kids who have been raped, which is also another project that I've started on with little girls and whatnot, we'll talk about that. Now, those kids are used to that environment, that very happy environment. Take that child out from that environment and say, go and face the world.
Hey, that's foreign.
But I understand.
You're putting them in a foreign country.
You are you've not only messed up, you might as well have left them in the streets. Do you understand?
Yes.
For them to actually adapt to growing towards.
Yes.
Now you're saying, get used to it,
so
and that's where it starts. You know, it's so the peer pressures of children going on to drugs or whatever it is. It doesn't always start at a young age. Some people, they start way after. You know, at that where the points where people expected in Horotlatom. It's because of that getting used to it.
Yes.
So what we do is, we are, as Life Goes On, we've just got an office, and that's it. Right, where we do the filing and whatnot, but everything that we do is social, is on a social aspect. So what we do is we take the kids, we throw them slap bang in the middle of Santon or wherever, a restaurant. Understand? Who is a child that is burnt. So we don't take that child at a island because that child automatically becomes comfortable. No, Uncle John.
Yes,
So I'll take that child and then I'll put it through with some of our volunteers and our, people who help us out. And those people are just, the way those people are acting around those kids is the energy they receive.
Yes.
So now, number one, I'm taking you to McDonald's, and it's now Susa from Nkukwini,
Yes.
and I'm not saying this is a statement that I'm putting, but I'm
Yes,
just saying
yes.
from an environment where you're not kind of used to that, I'm putting you right slap bang in the middle of Sandton City.
Yes.
Like, hello, what am I doing? I'm giving you that. As much as you would go to Sandton City, you were going to want to take selfies for it. Look, I was by Versace. You understand? As a child as well, that gets engraved. I'm with these people. I'm rolling with Life Goes On. We are here eating McDonald's. And because they're young, but the reception that they're going to get from them is a very positive one. Hi, how are you doing in Badlalingwan? You understand? She absorbs or he absorbs that energy, and then you take off with that energy as a whole.
That's nice.
Being a positive child. And then there's no need for it, like 10 years down the line, whether she's still on our program or not. She's ready.
It's
instilled.
She's ready to face the world.
Seed, do you understand? And not only have I reintegrated her back in society, now I've also taught society, y'all need to get used to, as much as you guys are used to people on a wheelchair, get used to you understand? And that's it. That's all we do.
Wow.
We don't have some special, I don't have some special wise words of wisdom to say to you. No, I'll just be like, Nana,
so you put actions. More
basically,
actions on it.
do you understand? And I've done it. We've actually done it statistically. So we've had doctors who I brought in a child. She got her legs amputated for so she was burnt, and then her legs were amputated. She was about 12 years. No, she was 10 years old at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, they were twins. So it's the one twin that got burnt. And then she was neglected. I'm not going to mention any names, which hospital, but yeah. And
ended up
they had to, because her legs got infected and whatnot. They left the drip in for too long, it got infected, and then it's like gangrene, and then they had to get it. Okay, cut long story short, she came onto our program. I asked her, and she was the opening factor of Life Goes On. I said to her, what is it that you want? Like, ufuna ini, what's the one thing that I can do for you that is not so too much materialistic wise? Because I know it's all in the mind, what the I see, the mind believes kind of thing. So she said, I just want to have a birthday party where I've got friends around. And I was like, so I'll go back to my partners. I'm like, guys, mind you, friends. So we decided to have an idol, because she couldn't walk, so she can't necessarily play with other kids. So we had a teen idols for her. So she was the judge of the actual, and then her friends. Now we're
participating.
We put her in control. Do you understand?
Yes.
So for once, now she's the boss, because she holds the future.
And people are relying on her for that trophy. Yes.
Yeah. So now they come, they sing for her, they do whatever talent they have, and it was a brilliant birthday. You understand? We got a lot of sponsorships and a lot of help from a lot of people. Shout out to St. Dunstan's. I really want to thank them for making that happen. And then so that happened, and then what happened was, after that, I had already spoken to his school teacher. Now, how is IZIGI at school? She's like, no, IZIGI Kapriki doesn't go out to play. We are shy due to IZIGI. Like 2 months down the line, she got blades. She started athletics. I came back 3 months later again, asked, hey, how's IZIGI? She's like, she is the boss of the crowd now. Yeah. You understand? Because
remember the judge.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Now somebody
it's like,
can do this.
I had like
this is me.
A 16,000 rand birthday party, and I had, you know what I mean? So sometimes when you when you put that energy as a kid, it does help. I don't want to lie to you. That's kids.
Hence when we grow up, I can remember we start with the careers that we want.
Yeah.
So just because jumper defense,
yeah.
doesn't understand.
You
understand? We all have that character.
You understand?
Yes,
so ever since then, and it literally, like, when I go back to the mother, and she's like, John, you can move on to the next thing now. Like, IZIGI she's a teenager now. She must be like 17. So she's grown. She's happy, and it was literally, we did it, and the people couldn't believe it.
This is so hard for me. Yeah?
And then that's what we do. But now I find, as a challenge given to me by God, is old people, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but God, we find a way around it, to work around it, because some people will be like, John, like, how old are you? Like 35. Yes, I can instill you into the program. I can tell you my life stories. I've been through it. I've been through the psychologist. But you can be a psychologist. You sit here and you ask me, like, you don't even know what it feels like to be me waking up in the morning. Because when I wake up in the morning, I don't wake up like you. You wake up and you be like, oh, I'm fly. I have to like stimulate myself to be like, yo, I wanna MTN rank. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it takes quite a lot. It's exhausting to be me. It's not easy, I don't want to lie. But they say God will put you in a certain place at a certain time for a certain reason, and you might not see it as a blessing. I think it's I could not ask to be like anything else right now. I'm the way I'm happy.
You are centered. You are happy.
And it's not even pretend or not. If I have bad days, like like you can call me like, John, come out. I'm like, I Joe, man, like I'm not
today.
Yeah, like just give me that. But I tell you, it won't last long. Like maybe a day. The following day, like, I chose so man. You know what I mean? So it's God. God will give you certain care, but I didn't want it just to be an energy. I'm like this, and then there was this guy Bagashile. I was saying, so Nekumbula, I was shown. I want to leave a legacy behind, and be on some. Hey man, Johnny Boy, you remember Johnny Boy? Oh, Johnny Boy, Joe, that guy. You know what I'm saying? And
that's you.
And yeah.
So now medical. I understand. I think it's very expensive.
Yeah, that's another very that's also one of the main reasons why I also did Life Goes On, is because medically it South Africa we are not like, we have got one of the best burn units in within the world. Actually, we've got some of the best plastic surgeons in the world, but it's the accessibility to them. So to my knowledge, like Bara's got a very good burn unit. There's another very good one in Pietermaritzburg and stuff, but those are the ones. So like typically like Runabat Baku Springs, so you're gonna get
you have to travel to Bara.
Once it's anything above 2nd degree burn, go Far East, they're gonna send you to Kopara. Do you understand? Now here's another reason why, is because when you get burns, you're gonna get sent to hospital. The doctor's gonna come and treat you for whatever it is, right? When you are sent back home, are you going to be like motivated to get into a taxi and come back for checkup?
No,
you're not. So what we do is, and the vision that we have going forward, is we have a mobile clinic. So I'll send her back home, then I speak to your doctor, I consult your doctor, depending on, like, we don't just take every burns victim. We check at the classification, background, they go through whatnot. Talk to the mother. We give you a kit, Yahoo Mama. Let's educate you on how to dress your child's dressing. So burn wound is typically like a typical wound. It goes from expensive to being cheap. Like the more you leave it open, the easier it heals to a certain degree. You understand? Just depends on if it's a 2nd degree burn or a 3rd degree burn. I'm no doctor. I also go to the consultation and be on some. I know so much, but you know what I mean. So you're not going to be motivated to go back to hospital, and because you're not motivated to go back to hospital, you're not going to heal as quick as you should. And by not healing as quick as you should, mentally you are dying inside, because now you have to go back to school, especially with kids. You have to go back to school. Now you're going to take like a whole 6 months off school, because when as the most important person right now in the healing process is when a mama. You understand? If you don't feel confident, it's going to how. Because you get that thing. That's why.
Yeah.
Why, mom? That's what our like. Yeah, I try. I understand. Yeah. So we start with you as the mother. With mama, if you winner, Now I'm a very playful person.
Marathon, is it accessible?
So yeah, getting to that is now they are accessible. So one, it also goes according to, so I'm a 3rd-degree burn, right? So after this is probably amputation. I've had some of my fingers amputated. It's as bad as what I would possibly think livable with, but bad. Yeah. So what happens, the most thing about it is the skin needs to reach, my skin doesn't regenerate. So basically, uchiswake stove, you burn, the skin peels off, and then you get new skin. Sharp.
Okay.
2nd-degree burn, kind of the same. 3rd-degree burn, that's the last layer of, yeah, that's the, after this is meat. I understand. So I'm not going to say any brands, but the typical ones that we are raised with, co-locationing and whatnot, they don't work. I'm talking about the ones we find go Pakistani. Like, yes. So what I spend on cosmetics, before I got this recent sponsor, that I'm going to tell you about, I used to spend about $200 on creams alone. Now that's cream for kuntlung. Then I'm a social person. I'm always out doing interviews, whatever. Another 200 rand. That's quite a lot for, you know what I mean? For toiletry,
yeah, no.
One. That's,
and we're just speaking about
just that. You understand? So it also just depends on your dermatologist. Some people are fortunate enough you can go to a dermatologist and then they'll tell you it's expensive. And that's the way, the main aspects of the healing is in what is, that's where the L'Oreals and the Niveas
that's why I'm very interested, because now there's this foundation you're also running. I'm sure you're getting kids from different backgrounds. Some of them are from disadvantaged background. So that's why I want us to educate our viewers as well at home, and to those that would like to maybe come and sponsor on your foundation. So that those are one of the basic things that I think it's very important to access which are their creams. Remember, they are daily creams. Now we are going to winter. I'm sure there's a different thing that happens to your skin. We get to summer. There's another different thing that happens. We get to autumn where there are no LED dust. There's another thing that happens. You understand? So I think we need education on that.
So basically, your skin is super sensitive out Chile. I go out into the sun. We go to Durban, to the beach. You use sunscreen, SP15. That's the usual one. I would need to use like SP50. Now SP50 is like triple times. You understand. So SP50, you're looking at plus minus 400 rand for just a bottle of sunscreen. So I'm going to educate those who don't know right now what has been working for me, and that's made a huge difference. And I've recently been introduced to them, and they are also helping me out with my campaigns and stuff. Cetiful. It's a very expensive brand, I won't lie. But it's a brand that is worth it. So I've got kids who also come through with acne, eczema. Their products are amazing, from your soaps to the creams that you use. So basically, whereas maybe like a bottle of Nivea, I'll probably maybe like 4 times, like I felt within a good 1.5 weeks. Cetiful, you put it on once. I'm moisturized especially coming into winter, so your skin goes dry. I'm moisturized for the whole day. Do you understand?
So for 24 hours.
Definitely. Even with normal skin, Cetiful, great. If you've got dry skin, I'm brand ambassading here, but obviously because I have to, but it's real talk, it's real, like I'm not talking because
and like you from experience, you're using it as
this is so it really does help out. I haven't really dreamt about being a bit lighter and stuff, but I see some of my scars are actually starting to open up a bit, and it's like now you can actually see a bit of my skin, In winter it's bad. It gets painful. It's like having a rash when you
that's how you feel.
So it gets very painful. I would suggest for anyone who does have a child with eczema or those kind of heavy skin problems, do try out Cetiful South Africa. You can find it at Discount, you can find it at Clicks. It is quite expensive, but there's ways around it, you know. You won't spend as much. I mean, if you're gonna buy like a 250 rand bottle of lotion, and they always say I mustn't say cream now. Always but there's lotions, and apparently, you know. So you find your particular one. You go and ask the person at the counter which one would be best for you. You're gonna use one of those bottles for the whole month. Especially for Nwana, they don't really feel it as much. As you get older, you start feeling, I'm a bit dry. I'm a bit, you know. So Seatiful, definitely. We also are in need of a lot of assistance, especially now going into winter. But the gas stoves, candles, and guys, candles. There's nothing I hate more than candles, because this season is where it's just crazy. Like I'm just getting calls left, right, and center. So let's actually I want to start doing a campaign calling baby. You know, like we grew up, white people used to do that, like baby proofing the house.
Okay.
It actually is very vital, because statistically, the kids and the calls that we get in is umntana ushekanjani. Hayi bengibusy ngichina uzibani ngaphandle wafika wadonsa ikhandlela or wadonsa istove or whatever. So wow. Let's baby proof. If whether it's cook, I don't care what it is. You can baby proof it. You don't need to buy anything specific. If you know if it's anything flammable,
and come to think of it, and they've got those things. I wonder, like those wooden
fencing around.
They do that. So we don't even understand.
You know, I mean, I used to be one of those people. You know, but now you look at it and you on some Joe, like half of the calls that I'm getting is umntana ushilanja. There's a call that I got in recently, very sad call. The child, so you get those microwave two plate.
Oh yes, yes.
And then
microwave
it's an oven. Yeah. Obviously, typical kokasi you walk in room your kitchen thing, and then your bed, yanas, couch. Yes. So now you've got the wiring all over the place, guys. That wiring is number one there. Okay, that child the wire. That microwave was sitting right at the top of the kitchen thing. You know what that thing? Yeah, it not only did it like. But it caged her in the oven. She got baked for a good few seconds while screaming. Yeah, because she's 2 years old.
Yes.
So that thing fell over her. Yamkwala. But because she was screaming, they were able to react. But for a good 10 seconds now, you get burnt high one like. Yes. Now imagine 10 seconds of an extreme oven heat. That child.
How is the child?
It's bad. It's bad, but because she's a baby, you don't remember I don't remember the pain that I went through. So you don't. But it's painful. You know, do you understand? But it was like I blame the parents. I blame them because, like, okay, bo grilla in kuku. Why is the door open still of the oven?
Because I'm trying to understand.
So it's negligence. Most of the cases, and that's why these doctors sometimes, I don't blame them. We get to hospital. So yes, it's their duty to serve and protect and whatnot, but it's negligence. It's rare that you will have a case like literally it was a mistake. Like, you know, there's mistakes do happen, but if it's in your own household, I blame you. Yeah. So most of the things, like now as we go into winter, guys, I would suggest honestly, let's actually start investing in the safety precautions for our kids, you know, baby proof the house. Honestly, like that ish is real. It's real, guys. It's I don't care if it's mkuku or whatnot. I don't expect you, but if you've got a toddler who's going to be crawling around,
I be child free.
Yeah, you understand that. Tata something. Yeah, do something. I mean, this is your child at the end of the day. Because as much as John made it's like I give props to my mother because raising umntana ofana nami, I can only imagine
jumpa
ngapha eTexini yazini ukhuluma kakhulu you understand what I'm saying, but just being umama kubhlungu kuthi kenzakaleni hayi babadlala nomngani wakhe washa, you understand, bakubheka kabi ezumama as futhi yazi azushiya umntana bayodlala bayosha kanti little do they know ngasikhathi yena mhlambe her grandchild is doing the same thing endlini, you understand. So it's not nice because it also has an effect on the mother. as well. So, yeah, man, but...
You're dating?
Yeah, right now. Am I...
So what is a strawberry? I would take a strawberry. So create straws. Then what happens?
So, like what? Like what?
I want to know now.
Are you asking?
You are now on the
dating
life game. Yes.
As in now or back then?
No.
Now.
Either one. Remember, I came to Laware at some time. There was a time no one has magma.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't be easy. But I think eventually, I've
got a child, so something happened. So, okay. The dating game is not easy.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because women like hot guys. Right?
Not every woman.
Not well, typically. Nati. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm also on something.
Maybe
you understand? Yeah, so you kind of have to show yourself. So I was fortunate enough with me.
Yeah,
okay.
I am now.
So hence I say all the things that I do is for my foundation is I just try to reciprocate that energy over onto those people and the kids. So dating is not very easy. I did get times where I was I was used. So basically what happened was after I matriculated, I felt you begin to you accept as long as I'm tanda. You understand?
Okay.
For so long.
So only more
you understand?
Yes. And then what you use.
And it's not, you know what I mean? You are better than that. So yes, as I was growing, I got to a point where I was like, "Hey, girl, sure, don't think because of me, I deserve better." And some people be like, "Whoa, who's gonna date you when you need to share by name?" You know what I'm saying? But you do get that. I've had a lot of girls where I broke up and they were on some yeah, so you get a lot of that. That's but I always say whether it's not just me being like this. A lot of guys have low self-esteem.
Yes.
With just certain things or in
yes,
you know what I mean? Because especially with social media and the things that we see nowadays,
guys,
you know what I mean? Like if you don't have iPhone, or then you're not good enough. I would rock up like on some but that's the thing is once you get to listen to me and hear me out, and I'll be like,
and once you start talking to each other,
there's no ways you don't, you know what I mean? And that's how you fall in love with whichever your partner. I do believe that everyone has their own partner, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so the dating game is just, I would say, it's just like any other guy that, it's all about,
yeah.
Can you, but I mean, I've got a child, he's 15 years old now. Beautiful,
50 out from
so so I've been fortunate enough to and I am currently dating as well. I'm hopefully gonna get married soon. I don't get married soon now.
I know, but please do.
Yeah,
and I'm expecting an invitation as well.
Most definitely.
Papa, Abu John, thank you so much for coming. Guys, I don't have much questions. I tried yazi ukuthi nginibuzele lo muntu unje uvulekile incwadi evulekile, and thank you so much, and
thank you for
and thank you for honoring our invite, and that was it for today, and that was IZIGI. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and follow us, and before we leave, word of the day, Papa, please
be you, do you. Yeah, be you, do you, man. That's it. That's the most important thing. Not just
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us. Love you. This was IZIGI, and I'm your girl Strawberry. Shout out.